Hi, everyone. I'm Pip from Seymour Digital Media. You're listening to Know How Marketing Lab podcast. This podcast brings together different experts in marketing from our Facebook group, Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. Each week we get on here and we talk about something search marketing like Google Ads or SEO, social media marketing from Facebook to TikTok, or website marketing. If you're a marketer or aspiring marketer, a business owner or entrepreneur, this podcast for you. We're going to share the best SEO, search, social, and website strategies. We share tips and hacks, Google Ads strategies, what's going on in the current market. Each week we discuss something exciting and awesome in marketing.
Hello there. My name is Phelan.
My name's Pip.
And today we're going to be talking about, does your website platform affect your SEO?
Yes, it does.
It does, but I think in much more subtle ways than we initially think.
Yeah, it's true. And I think you also have to take into account if this is a deciding factor for you.
Yeah, it's definitely one that there's lots of different options out there. There's platforms that come to mind, WordPress, just general
Wix,
Squarespace, even ones like Shopify for e-commerce or BigCommerce. Those are other ones that are available as well.
Weebly, you have a note for Weebly. Is that because we're dealing with a Weebly?
Because I was just dealing with a Weebly website, and I just wanted to say that how much I hated their platform.
We're Wix partners too, but we're also Squarespace partners, and if WordPress had partners, we'd be a partner.
Yes, with everything except WordPress.com. I'm not a big fan of them.
I like some of their blog posts. I do.
So some of their stuff is good, but using their platform, it leaves a little bit to be desired for me.
Oh, okay. But see, Phelan, you're talking about like the WordPress.org.
No, .com is the business.
And when you're a business owner and you have a WordPress site, it's WordPress.org.
That's where all like the free open source stuff that you can download.
And that's how then you buy a theme and you have hosting. And so that's not what you're talking about when you say you hate Word.
Exactly. I'm saying WordPress.com, meaning the business that does the hosting.
I see.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to the SEO and different platforms and how they affect your SEO. So there are definitely a few things to keep in mind. The top one is how much control does the platform give you in order to edit things?
I think that's the outcome, right? The more control you have, the more you have to do.
Yeah.
So less control, less you have to do, but then the less control. And if there's something that a platform does that is an SEO friendly, let's say, I don't know, URLs, then you won't have any control over that. Exactly.
And it's definitely one where if you can't control certain aspects or you don't get access to it, like we ran into this with GoDaddy host website platform. Yeah, that was not our favorite.
Hey, a message to GoDaddy. If you ever hear this, why can I not add a tag manager to your platform when creating a WordPress site in your dashboard?
Yeah, or the website builder, the official name for it.
Yes.
And it's definitely, so you're going to run into situations like that. Can you edit? What can you edit? Can you get in? And the more technical you get with your SEO, the more you're going to want to be able to have more control over that.
So the one you have the most control over is WordPress.
Yeah.
And you even have control over images and the image sizing, where on Wix and Squarespace and Shopify, maybe Weebly, you upload images and they manage the weight of the image for you. Right?
Yeah. So if you do, they call them self-hosted platforms, so that the company is hosting it for you and you're paying them. And so they're doing a bunch of like stuff in the back end to make it run super quick. And you're kind of outsourcing the back end. Whereas like a WordPress site that you're hosting on like HostGator, you're entirely responsible for everything that's going on with it, and it gives you a lot more control, but it also means you're all out on your own.
Yeah. And they all do different things, like how they store the images and the sizes of the images for you.
Yeah, and just to be clear, images are a big part of SEO. They're going to help with load time, so that's why it's a big thing. If you've got images and you want them a certain way, you may want to look at these systems, and they definitely will slow down your website if you're not careful, which will definitely affect your SEO rankings.
How many people have taken pictures and then uploaded them right to their site? So sometimes you'd be able to do that on like Wix or Squarespace or Shopify. Or how many people have gone to Canva, made an image for their header image, downloaded it, not known the weight of it. And the weight being, there's many things that come into play with image optimization, which we'll get into at a later date.
Yeah, that's a story for another time. But it's definitely, Yeah, images are definitely a huge component in how each of these, you work with them and what would I say, deploy them on the website. So how that really will affect your SEO. So that's a big one. The other one is like how it's mobile friendly, as Google is, it's all about mobile first.
Mobile first.
And so they definitely, you want to make sure that it's out of the box, it's mobile friendly. If not, there are tools to help it become mobile friendly.
And that would be more technical SEO, right? Depending on what you're doing, you are going to focus on different things. What am I saying here? I am not sure anymore, but basically having a mobile friendly site, super important. That's technical SEO. And again, I think a lot of business owners and even marketers just cross their fingers and hope, right? Because if you start getting into technical SEO and looking at it, you can get pretty overwhelmed with that first paint and all that jazzy stuff.
There's definitely some parts of, and what Pip's referring to is called page speed insights. And so Google's got these terms, and that's about, again, we were talking about loading. And so that's things that are getting affected. How quickly does it load? There's also Google has, so if you go to Google and you type in mobile friendly test, you can put in your website and they do a pretty quick check. And I would use that tool over any other one. And because Google is the one that's still going to be ranking you. So if their tool says that your website's mobile friendly or not, that's probably going to be the best indicator.
Want to know more about SEO? We've got a class for that. Our mission is to educate students about the right tools, techniques, and strategies to grow their businesses using the most up-to-date search engine marketing optimization techniques and tools. Find out more at knowhowmarketinglab.com. I once got asked, do you do the same thing for SEO on other platforms that you would do on Google? And I was not. Google's the one we're going to be paying attention to. Yeah, Bing or DuckDuckGo or because they're all going to have their own algorithms.
Yeah, they're all going to have their own algorithms. The thing I think of is that they're all going to be taking cues from Google and what they're doing because they're the big player, and so it'd be foolish for some small platform that's like barely struggling to get by to just be like, no, we're going to do this completely different.
So I guess the question is, if you are doing everything yourself and you don't have a lot of technical skill and you don't have the wherewithal to learn it,
or access to someone who could help you with it,
then maybe you're not going to worry about your SEO as much, or you're going to do the best you can with what you have. And then when you get to a certain level, you'll probably level up and maybe make your way over to WordPress. WordPress is harder to use on the back end for like people. Yeah,
for if you're not technically savvy, or if you're not working online all the time and like you're very used to doing with these tools, then you're going to have it's going to be a bit of a learning curve.
But if you have someone to show you. Because we all start somewhere.
Or dedicated to YouTube for a good week.
You can learn everything you need on YouTube. You just have to be willing to dig.
And not take every single person at face value for what they're saying. There's definitely going to be some people that'll have opinions that might not be the best. So you'll have to take it with a grain of salt.
But you can find gold on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. So going off that, if you are looking to get started and you're not super SEO savvy, I would probably say stick with Squarespace or a Wix for just the start.
Well, that'll help you with the image, the SEO image stuff, right? And the weight of the images, but it won't help you with the URLs. Same with Shopify. Because out of the box, their URLs are longer.
Yeah.
And Google, like shorter URLs. For instance, if you have like service pages, they could just be pages on your website. They don't need to go under a category, like you have a parent page and a child page, right?
So what you're saying is like you'd have like your domain.com/services/ house painting, for example. And then instead you could just mydomain.com/house painting. And then you would just remove one level, and then that would make it. Google, definitely appreciates shorter URLs. One other thing about that why I would suggest using Wix and Squarespace is that they do have a lot of SEO tools to help you get started, like a little setup wizard, and like you just plug in some basic information. And so just to get you tip your toe into it.
Honestly, though, I am a bigger fan of WordPress, but that's just because I like the control. So the answer is it depends on who you are. Your SEO is affected by the platform you choose, but depending on what you need at the time you need it, each one is going to have its benefits and its negative sides.
And yeah, it's definitely one where you're going to have to get the kind of the quadrants of how much time, how much money, how much technical skills, and just trying to figure out where you fit in that. And then, yeah, ultimately, you're probably going to want to, like you said, move to a WordPress site at the end, because that's kind of more.
But we don't mind Square Wix. We work in those. And Weebly. Squarespace, sorry. I always say Square.
Yeah.
Squarespace.
Which is a different company altogether that has to do with e-commerce and stuff like that. So
and Shopify. I like Shopify too, but I don't know much about Weebly, actually. So I'm hearing you hate it.
It's a little antiquated. It's a relic of a bygone era. It's like using Joomla or something like.
Or I saw something the other day. When I worked for that company who sold website Duda or something. Something like, they're still around. I saw an ad for them or something like that. They're a direct competitor to WordPress. They have the drag and drop functionality too. It might not be Duda though. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on what it is.
One other thing that's going to really be helpful for you is when you're getting started, seeing how much content or resources are available. How many people are making YouTube videos about this? How much of their help docs are there?
Yeah, that's helpful.
It's one that I have learned to appreciate is a good knowledge library that a company has that goes, hey, you want to do this? This is how you do it. And they have it all written out with steps and like they've updated it. That's also very important because
Wix and Squarespace do a really good job of that.
Yes, they do a good job.
Shopify too.
Shopify had, in the last couple of years, they haven't been updating their docs as much as they should be.
It's a hard thing to have to update your docs when things are moving so fast.
Yes, exactly. I don't ever fault anyone for not updating their docs because like it's one of those things that there's always something else that's more important. But it's definitely one, as well as like people on YouTube making tutorials or stuff like that, or tips and tricks for your platform, going to be super important as well because you want to know that other people are using it and there's ways to optimize it.
The other thing to consider is if you're doing a WordPress website, you're going to have a theme. And that theme can be cluttered with code and be bad. Lots of people use Divi. I've used Divi, and lots of people have really old sites, right? Yeah. And all those things can make your site heavier or slower. So if you do use WordPress, the theme does matter.
Yeah, and that goes across for every one of those platforms.
So how do you check for that?
That's where the page speed insights will definitely be really useful for you, and they'll give you a grade out of 100.
But if you're thinking of buying a theme, though, how would you figure out if it's a good theme or a bad theme if you're using WordPress?
I would go
read the docs.
Read the docs, find a demo site and put that demo site through PageSpeed Insights. That'll probably tell you some stuff as well. That if they have a theme and it unoptimized and it already it has a really poor score out of the box, then you might want to avoid it.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot to go through. If you're DIYing it, there's a lot to learn. You start with websites. If you're focused on SEO, websites are a big part of SEO, right? So you'll learn all of this as you go along over time.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one like we've been saying a couple times now where you're going to be stair-stepping your way through this. So you don't have to be master SEO right out of the gate. You're definitely going to start off small, learn a little bit, then build on that over time because it does take time and experience.
I'm nodding.
Yes, exactly. And it's definitely, there's going to be a lot of experience and you're just going to have to experiment a little bit. And just also remember that no matter what platform you pick, most of them are really good at being able to export things and you'll be able to switch platforms. There'll be a bit of headache at the start, but none of this is set in stone once you're
right.
there.
And if you get a marketing friend, you can ask them. Ask a couple of marketing people. Lots of people who are in marketing have opinions.
Yes.
So true. And lots of SEO, you can always Facebook message people or Twitter tweet at people. And lots of people will answer you depending on what your questions are. I would do a search for the theme on Google. And that's where you start with everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to start with Google. You also see any reviews, negative reviews, that kind of stuff.
Which are always helpful. I think we're out of time. Are we out of time?
I believe that we are out of time.
We should go.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
The conversation never stops in our Facebook group, Cyberpunk Geeks. Join us at facebook.com/groups/cyberpunk geeks to ask your questions, meet new friends, and learn even more about search, social, and websites.